a handsome prosecutor encounters a top female celebrity. They form a picture-perfect drama-style marriage that everyone envies. After the wedding, he shares passionate, fiery nights with his wife. But hidden in the shadows, this marriage holds secrets no one knows. Tae Seop was born into a humble background, yet his ambition never rests. Determined to seize power and enter the circle of the elite, Tae Seop strains every nerve to become a prosecutor, then trades his rented room for a Mercedes-Benz. He endures freezing winds at -8 degrees Celsius to gather evidence. Yet the prosecutor's world is ruled by money and influence. With only passion and hard work, he cannot even touch the heels of the powerful. On the verge of despair, Tae Seop finally finds a key to unlock the gate of the elite. Sang-ah, a top star sweeping across Asia. Once resolved, Tae Seop successfully woos Sang-ah. After a long romance, they marry. By riding on his wife's fame, Tae Seop finally becomes a star prosecutor admired by the public. But the spotlight on stars rarely lasts long. Now his wife Sang-ah is fading from popularity and has recently been investigated for tax evasion. As a symbiotic couple, Tae Seop's once rapidly rising status begins to waver. Lately, Tae Seop is back to his old ways. At parties, acting like a fool, kowtowing to lawmakers, trying to find another path to fulfill his ambition. He learns from a colleague that a female mayor is drawing huge attention. Rumors say she may very well aim for the Blue House. It is said many want to dig up scandals about the mayor, to raise their own profile and climb higher. But everyone who tries rashly ends up wrecking their career. Tae Seop, however, refuses to believe it. His investigation reveals that the female mayor's approval ratings were sliding until a certain conglomerate helped her turn the tide and rise swiftly. That conglomerate ranks third among South Korea's chaebols. The chairman's second wife, a beautiful and capable executive director, is the true power holder of the group. Tae Seop finds out that this beautiful director not only controls Korean media and the entertainment industry, but also has secret ties with the political world. It is said the director has selected that female mayor as her presidential candidate. Tae Seop also hears that the director's most notorious method is first to seize leverage over her own artists, then force those artists into sex deals with political bigwigs. What Tae Seop does not yet know is that his own wife is about to be drawn into this filthy trade. To escape her dire situation, Sang-ah meets with the beautiful director tonight. The director once bought shares in Sang-ah's agency and is the key figure who decides Sang-ah's entertainment future. So Sang-ah asks the director for help, hoping to make a strong comeback. In the entertainment world where new faces replace the old, the director says she holds a winning card that can bring Sang-ah back to her former glory. Then the director mentions a name, Ah Cheng. Ah Cheng is Sang-ah's junior in the industry, recently gaining fame as the lead in a TV drama. The director explains, the female mayor likes Ah Cheng and fantasizes about being the heroine who acts opposite him in the drama. All Sang-ah has to do is persuade Ah Cheng to meet the mayor. After brief thought, Sang-ah refuses outright. She longs for fame, but she doesn't want to sacrifice others. Hearing this, the director changes to a stern tone and reminds her, Sang-ah's fate is in her own hands. At this critical moment, she had better face reality. Back home that night, Sang-ah keeps vomiting in the bathroom. Tae Seop comes to comfort her. He feels guilty. He knows what his wife longs for, but as her husband, he cannot help at all. He also feels that his wife is very much like him. To grasp what she desires, she stumbles but never stays still. Sang-ah agrees. Perhaps it is because they are so similar that they can walk side by side. With those words, Tae Seop is overcome with desire, and they kiss and entwine passionately in the bathroom. Besides his wife, Tae Seop has ties with another woman. Jung-won is his informant. In front of her, Tae Seop sometimes confides his thoughts, saying that sometimes he feels he doesn't really know his seemingly familiar wife. Jung-won hands Tae Seop investigation files on the female mayor and the beautiful director, confirming their relationship is indeed extremely close. The probe also confirms that the director often brings the powerful to the top floor of the group's hotel, and accompanying those powers into the top floor are female celebrities. Clearly, the hotel's top floor is where the powerful engage in sex deals, and on the hotel's reservation list is the female mayor's name for next week. Once the date is set, Tae Seop prepares to act, but his superiors notice something odd and warn him not to be foolish enough to investigate the mayor. Tae Seop outwardly obeys, but inside he has other plans. Most of his fellow prosecutors have backers one way or another. If the prosecution system undergoes a major reshuffle, he will be the first to be purged. With no retreat left, Tae Seop steels himself to go for broke. That night, Tae Seop meets a special person, the stepson of the beautiful executive director, Director Kwon. He is the chairman's eldest son. As the eldest son, Director Kwon should be the rightful heir to the group, but after his stepmother gave the chairman a daughter and took control of the group's hotels and entertainment companies, for Director Kwon, his stepmother's existence is the biggest obstacle to his inheritance. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Tae Seop proposes an alliance with Director Kwon, planning together to defeat the stepmother. To achieve that goal, Tae Seop's weapon is the female mayor. He plans to infiltrate the hotel's top floor and catch the mayor in the act of participating in sex entertainment. After that, Director Kwon must ensure the scandal is not suppressed by the media. If things go smoothly, once the stepmother director is defeated, Director Kwon will become Tae-seop's backer, helping him enter the National Assembly as a lawmaker, even reach the very top of state power. Director Kwon admires Tae-seop's ambition and strategy, and immediately agrees to cooperate. On the day of the sex entertainment, the director is greeting the mayor, while Tae-seop secretly films from nearby. Inside the hotel, Tae-seop's man, disguised as a waiter, obtains a fingerprint from a wine bottle handled by hotel staff. Then Jung-won uses that fingerprint to access the security room and retrieve the key card for the mayor's room. Once he has the key card, Tae-seop immediately moves to the next step. But then Jung-won spots Tae-seop's wife, Sang-ah, arriving at the same hotel. Earlier today, Sang-ah told her agency's CEO never to compromise with the director over A-Cheng. Soon after, she learns that the CEO has taken A-Cheng to the hotel without permission. When Sang-ah confronts the CEO, he says that if she doesn't comply, the director will withdraw her investment. Besides, Ah-Cheng agreed himself. To land the lead role in a hot drama, Ah-Cheng is willing to sacrifice himself. To stop A-Cheng from making an irreversible mistake, Sang-ah comes to the hotel. But on the hotel corridor, Sang-ah suddenly has a panic attack, as if seeing her past self. It turns out Sang-ah was also a victim of sex entertainment long ago. And now witnessing A-Cheng walk into that room, following her same tragic path, her heart breaks. Panicking, Sang-ah hides into an elevator. But when the elevator doors open, she brushes past her husband, Tae-seop. Thinking of the opportunity so close at hand, Tae-seop hesitates, but does not chase after her. Instead, Tae-seop enters the mayor's room and turns on his phone's camera. Following the sounds to the innermost part, he successfully films the mayor and A-Cheng in the throes of passion. Seeing someone secretly filming, the mayor is terrified, but Tae-seop triumphantly whistles. It seems this time, he will finally ascend to the peak of power. The moment the evidence was captured, Tae-seop took the video to the group's beautiful female director. The director asked Tae-seop what he really wanted. If he needed money, he could just say so. But Tae-seop did not use the video for any transaction. He merely warned the director not to bully his wife any longer. It turned out that the director's husband, the group's chairman, had long been fond of Tae-seop's celebrity wife. His wife, Sang-ah, had also filmed many advertisements for the group, which had incurred the director's jealousy and hostility. Tae-seop declared that if it weren't for the fact that the target of the mayor's scandal, the rookie actor Ah Sung, was his wife's junior, he would have exposed the video right then. However, the director was not someone to be trifled with. She mentioned a certain Mr. Park, saying that Park was about to be released from prison. Apparently, during his imprisonment, he had been writing letters to Sang-ah constantly, and the relationship between them seemed far from ordinary. At home, Sang-ah confronted her husband. How much did he actually know about Ah Sung and the mayor's sex for favors deal? Tae-seop admitted that he only knew the mayor was involved in a sex scandal, but had no idea the target was his wife's junior. Had he known that, he would never have touched this scandal. Sang-ah asked her husband to suppress the matter for her sake. For Sang-ah, keeping this quiet was not just for her junior's benefit, but primarily for her agency's survival and her own. Sang-ah knew very well that once the scandal broke, the agency would be in trouble, and the director would not let it go easily. And if she wanted to make a comeback in the entertainment industry, she still needed the director's backing. Tae-seop then brought up Mr. Park, asking his wife whether she had been in contact with Park recently. Sang-ah denied it without changing her expression, but Tae-seop could see at a glance that she was lying. In secret, Sang-ah opened a letter Park had sent her from prison. In the letter, Park seemed utterly infatuated with Sang-ah and mentioned a murder case, complaining that throughout his years in prison, Sang-ah had never visited him. Sang-ah coldly burned the letter. Meanwhile, Tae-seop opened a hard drive and reviewed the murder case Park had committed several years earlier. Also, in the bathroom, he found traces of burned paper and retrieved an incompletely burnt fragment from the trash can, thus learning that Park had been writing to his wife. As an actress, Sang-ah was currently filming a drama. That day, the production team found a body double for Sang-ah. But that double was none other than Tae-seop's informant, Jung-won. Jung-won's coming to be a double was entirely Tae-seop's arrangement. Convinced that his wife was hiding something from him, Tae-seop instructed Jung-won to use the opportunity of being a stand-in to keep an eye on Sang-ah, especially to find out any contact between Sang-ah and suspicious men. Jung-won warned Tae-seop that this might open Pandora's box, but Tae-seop was unafraid. Since the box was bound to be opened eventually, he might as well be the one to open it. Following Tae-seop's orders, during breaks in filming, Jung-won stole Sang-ah's phone, and a hacker planted a wiretap program inside it. Soon after, a special call came to Sang-ah's phone. The caller was Park, still in prison. On the phone, Sang-ah said she looked forward to Park's release, and that she was waiting to meet him. Eavesdropping on this, Tae-seop felt a strange stirring inside. He hated being deceived, and even more hated his wife hiding things about other men from him. Just then, the director sent a message. It was a preview of a video, titled, "The Reason the Couple Tae-seop and Sang-ah Fear Each Other." The cover directly pointed to the fact that the couple's first encounter was linked to a murder case. The director used this as leverage, threatening Tae-seop to stay silent about the mayor's sex scandal. She declared that if the couple obediently let themselves be trampled by her, she would restore Sang-ah to her former glory. Faced with the director's threat, Tae-seop hesitated. Should he let himself be pushed around or sacrifice his wife? For a moment, Tae-seop could not decide. The next day, the director went to a private hot spring to bathe. Unexpectedly, a subordinate brought her a video. It was a major news story of Tae-seop exposing the mayor's involvement in a sex scandal. Clearly, Tae-seop had made his choice. The mayor, furious, ran to the director, shouting and causing a scene, accusing the director of failing to clean up after her and calling her a low-class pimp. With the mayor's scandal exposed, Sang-ah was also swept into the storm. The media swarmed the set to besiege Sang-ah. Luckily, at the critical moment, Jung-won put on the double's outfit and pretended to be Sang-ah, distracting the media and allowing Sang-ah to escape. Sang-ah confronted her husband. Why had he suddenly exposed everything? Why had he ignored her plea? Tae-seop, however, brought out the letter fragments he had found and instead accused his wife of hiding things from him, stressing that because of her, he had been threatened by the director. Sang-ah explained that she didn't want to involve her husband in matters concerning Park and believed she could control Park on her own. Tae-seop and his wife broke into an argument. No matter what, he refused to be manipulated and trampled upon by the director. Sang-ah could not forgive her selfish husband. For her, living as an actress and finding her place again in the entertainment industry was the core of her life. That was why she absolutely could not fall out with the director. With that, Sang-ah warned her husband that if he took one more step forward, their relationship would be over. Tae-seop apologized to his wife, promising to do everything he could to clean up the mess. To protect his wife as much as possible, Tae-seop arranged for the rookie actress involved in the mayor's sex scandal to hold a press conference. He had her apologize from a script he wrote, even performing tears on cue, and deliberately emphasized that this had nothing to do with senior Sang-ah, that Sang-ah had tried her best to persuade her. As the actress apologized, Tae-seop promptly went on stage, quietly urging her to cry even harder. After the actress sobbed her way through, Tae-seop took over and gave a speech, striking a righteous tone, vowing to sever the corrupt ties between chaebols, politics, and the entertainment industry. He also exposed that the mayor had bought a property for a certain actress and did not hesitate to leak a recording of the prosecutor general suppressing a case. The prosecutor general and the mayor were in-laws, and he had used his authority to shield the mayor. Tae-seop declared that he would correct his mistakes and become a prosecutor who truly practices justice. Seeing Tae-seop's remarks at the press conference, the director was furious with shame. Sang-ah went to see the director, clarifying that her husband had not consulted her before choosing to expose everything. But the director would hear none of it. She smashed a raw egg on Sang-ah's forehead. At this point, she didn't want to hear any excuses. Now, to destroy Tae-seop, the director swore she would take Sang-ah down and make Sang-ah suffer the greatest humiliation an actress could endure. Sang-ah was humiliated. In contrast, Tae-seop became the people's righteous prosecutor thanks to the expose. Within just a few days, Tae-seop's name topped the search rankings, and his approval ratings kept climbing. Tae-seop's older sister began showing off in public, constantly emphasizing to restaurant customers that Tae-seop was her own brother, believing that after this battle, the National Assembly member badge her brother wanted would be well within reach. Just then, Jung-won called. On Tae-seop's orders, Jung-won had gone to the prison visiting room to gather information and learned Park's release date. Additionally, Jung-won reminded Tae-seop that she had spotted a familiar face there. A former political reporter, now a gossip video blogger, Reporter Choi. It seemed that Reporter Choi was there to meet with Park, and apparently he had come more than once or twice. That evening, Reporter Choi went to the director's mansion. The director controlled Korea's film and media industries. This mansion was the birthplace of the Korean entertainment industry's secret history. There, Reporter Choi signed a confidentiality agreement, plotting to join forces with the director to create a media world they would continue to control with an iron fist. Elsewhere, Jung-won was tailing Sang-ah. She discovered that tonight, Sang-ah had gone out to meet someone. The director's husband, the group chairman who had long coveted Sang-ah. To climb the ladder, Sang-ah had decided to risk everything. For their own ambitions to climb to the top, the husband and wife are determined to do whatever it takes. After successfully exposing the mayor's sex bribery scandal, Tae-seop once again transforms into a star prosecutor. Because Tae-seop's move strikes at the heart of his stepmother, the director, that evening, executive director Kwon, who is working with Tae-seop, meets him, introduces him to an assemblyman, a representative, etc., planning to push Tae-seop into the National Assembly. Unexpectedly, the director also shows up. Under the table, the director secretly teases Tae-seop with her beautiful legs, signaling him to go out with her. Outside, the director puts out a warning, saying that before long, Tae-seop will be crawling between her legs begging for mercy. Seeing that Tae-seop has no intention of backing down, the director reaches out her jade hand and strokes his thigh, seducing and threatening at the same time, claiming that the news about Sang-ah's tax evasion was her own doing. Tae-seop feels heartache for his wife, but the director is relentless. Before leaving, she drops another remark, saying she is about to launch a big production regarding Representative Oh's case. Tae-sop reminds the director, saying that case was handled by him personally and has nothing to do with his wife. But the director says Tae-sop has not yet seen his wife's true colors. That night, Sang-ah meets secretly with the chairman of the Kwon Group behind her husband's back. She also brings up Representative Oh's case. Sang-ah warns the chairman that a certain Park is about to be released from prison and he possesses a file. The chairman's name is on it. If the contents of that file come to light, both the chairman and the entire group will suffer. Sang-ah tries to use this as leverage to make a deal with the chairman, hoping he will help her shut Park's mouth. Unfortunately, the chairman isn't buying it. Instead, he warns Sang-ah that she should take a closer look at her husband. Sang-ah is utterly baffled by his words. At night, Tae-sop secretly listens to recordings of his wife's phone calls. Sang-ah also begins to suspect her husband. Soon after, reporter Choi creates a video about Representative Oh's case and the relationship between the case, Park, and the couple, and makes it public. It turns out that Representative Oh was the former owner of the entertainment agency Sang-ah worked for, a Chungmuro star maker, and a giant of the Korean film industry. It was Representative Oh who discovered Sang-ah and single-handedly built her into a top star. But just as Representative Oh was about to join hands with the Kwon Group and make big moves, he was suddenly brutally murdered. The perpetrator of that case was Park. Park was Sang-ah's bodyguard, seemingly an upright and simple young man. What's more, after Park was arrested, all news reports about the case disappeared. Reporter Choi believes there must be an invisible hand behind the case. To uncover the truth, reporter Choi visits Park in prison and hears one sentence from him. Park says, "For a while, Sang-ah kept refusing to film and was emotionally out of control. Representative Oh had me become her bodyguard, but I never imagined things would turn out that way." But in reality, the video that appears to reveal the truth was actually made at the director's request. The day after the video is released, reporter Choi goes to meet the director, and behind him, Tae-seop's informant, Jung-won, is tailing and watching. Reporter Choi updates the beautiful director. Today is Park's release date. He will go pick him up. He will obtain a crucial recording from Park. He will also invite Park to appear on his next video. The director gives reporter Choi a wad of cash, the appearance fee for Park. Reporter Choi judges that, more than money, Park is thirsting for revenge against Sang-ah. While reporter Choi and the director talk, Jung-won's hacker friend sneaks into his car to install a tracker. To buy her friend some time, Jung-won pretends to be clumsy and spills water on reporter Choi as he comes out. After her friend finishes the installation, Jung-won drops the act and unceremoniously calls reporter Choi a leech, saying he lives by sucking other people's blood and that one day she will end up the same way. After completing the first part of the mission, Jung-won contacts Tae-sop to report her progress. Meanwhile, inside the prosecutor's office, because Tae-seop exposed the mayor and the chief prosecutor, his superiors are all fearing for their own hides. After a meeting, they decide to suspend Tae-seop, but unexpectedly, Tae-seop storms into the conference room, refuses the suspension, and stylishly hands in his resignation, leaving on his own. He doesn't want to spend another moment in that rot-ridden organization. Just after resigning, Tae-seop sees the news. The mayor he exposed has admitted to the sex bribery and resigned from office. After a glorious victory, Tae-seop gives media interviews, announcing that he will enter politics, run for office, and continue his mission to uphold justice for the people. In contrast, his wife Sang-ah is facing considerable trouble. Because of the scandal involving the mayor and the male actor, filming of her movie has been delayed, causing heavy losses for the production. More importantly, this film is Sang-ah's comeback. To seize this precious opportunity, Sang-ah volunteers to cover the production costs. After finishing business, Sang-ah gets a call from her former bodyguard, Park. Park has just been released and is desperate to meet her. When she refuses, Park becomes furious, accusing Sang-ah of having lied to him all along. It turns out that back then, Sang-ah apparently told Park if he killed Representative Oh for her, she would become his woman. After he went to prison, she swore she would divorce Tae-seop. Park threatens he won't just stand by and watch Sang-ah be with another man. He demands that she fulfill their old promise, or else he will spill everything and bring her down with him. Tae-seop overhears every word of the conversation between Park and Sang-ah. With things having gone this far, Tae-seop is visibly agitated, and even more so Sang-ah. She doesn't know how to solve the problem before her. When Park calls Sang-ah, reporter Choi is right beside him. That night, using the tracker, Jung-won follows them to the restaurant where reporter Choi and Park are talking. As agreed, reporter Choi asks Park to hand over the recording and promises that once the recording is made public, he will make sure Sang-ah becomes Park's woman. Park is convinced and gives the recording to reporter Choi. Reporter Choi plugs the recording into his computer and listens. Just as Park said, during the O case, Sang-ah had promised to become Park's woman and give him everything she had. But just as the reporter is listening, Tae-seop suddenly bursts in, snatches the USB drive, and smashes the reporter's computer. He gives the reporter a harsh lesson, then drags Park into a storage room. Park is no match for Tae-seop. Tae-seop viciously threatens Park. If he dares to make the recording public, he will ensure Park spends the rest of his life in prison. In the chaos, Jung-won takes reporter Choi's computer and discovers an article the reporter was writing about the couple, which mentions another actress, Ji-soo. Ji-soo is Sang-ah's junior, and they are like sisters. During one shoot, Ji-soo was forced to film an explicit sex scene that wasn't originally in the script. Unable to accept it, she ran off the set. But Representative Oh, hard-hearted, dragged her back by force and ordered her to continue. At that moment, Sang-ah stood up for her junior, helped Ji-soo up, and declared that Ji-soo would no longer appear in that film and that she herself would pay the penalty fees. Afterward, Ji-soo confided in Sang-ah. She was grateful for Sang-ah's help, but worried that if she kept fighting, Representative Oh would blacklist and bury her. For the sake of her acting dream, Ji-soo decided to grit her teeth and finish the remaining shoots. But unexpectedly, the courage Ji-soo mustered for her dream would lead her to the depths of death. That night, Ji-soo went to see Representative Oh to renegotiate the filming terms. Instead, Representative Oh introduced her to the chairman of the Kwon Group and the chief prosecutor. Clearly, for money, Representative Oh was using Ji-soo for sexual favors. After that incident, Sang-ah's life also changed drastically. One night, Sang-ah sneaked into Representative Oh's room and stabbed him with a knife. As she panicked, a knock suddenly sounded at the door. End of this episode. Welcome to like and comment.